U.S. Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon says he's crafting legislation to impose consequences for social media platforms if they don't remove content from somebody who is a so-called bad actor. RT's Dan Cohen explains.
Ron Wyden has been one of the leading lawmakers pressuring Silicon Valley giants like Google, Facebook, and Twitter to crack down on supposed Russian interference in U.S. affairs since Hillary Clinton's stunning loss to Donald Trump in 2016. So his latest proposal comes as no surprise. In an exclusive interview with Recode, Wyden said he'll, quote, try to lay out what the consequences are when somebody who's a bad actor, somebody who really doesn't meet the decency principles that reflect our values. Wyden says if that bad actor blows by the bounds of common decency, I think you gotta have a way to make sure that stuff is taken down. He added, there are probably 1,000 accounts out there that are as bad as Alex Jones. This comes after Facebook, Apple, and Google's YouTube removed content from Alex Jones and his InfoWars page in what appeared to be a coordinated effort. Twitter followed suit days later, suspending Jones for a week. Facebook has also coordinated with the Israeli government to delete pages belonging to Palestinian activists and news agencies. On Tuesday, President Trump spoke out against what he called censorship, saying the social media giants discriminate against Republican and conservative voices.
You know, I'd rather have fake news like CNN. I would rather have fake news, it's true, than have anybody, including liberals, socialists, anything, than have anybody stopped and censored.
Well, Alex Jones has been the most high-profile figure to be removed by the Silicon Valley tech giants. While Senator Wyden hasn't formally introduced the legislation yet, it remains to be seen what definition of a bad actor he proposes and what so-called decency principles are. Reporting in Washington, Dan Cohen, RT.
And for more, we're joined by legal and media analyst Lionel. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Nice to have you in studio with us. And since social media companies like Twitter have already openly admitted that they have a bias, can we really trust them to decide who is a bad actor? And how is Antifa more peaceful than Alex Jones? Do you see Senator Wyden's proposals as dangerous?
Yes! Yes! Without any hesitation. What does that even, I'm sorry, I mean to yell. What does this mean, a bad actor? Can you say prior restraint? Look, I'm a lawyer. I was a prosecutor. I know a little bit about this. The only time the government says something a priori, prior restraint, is if it's going to be obscene, if it's libelous, and then there are ways for private individuals to address that in a tribunal that's appropriate. If something is something to national security, that's it. What is a bad actor? What he's saying is, if you say something of an opinion, of a theory, of a platform that we in this august tribunal find problematic, even though we can't even describe it or describe it, woe unto you. This should just, everybody should run into the street, calmly, of course, and peacefully. This smacks at the very essence of what the First Amendment is. And let me also say that the First Amendment also oftentimes does not apply because it's not the federal government or the state government as a transgressor. Well, when you've got a congressman or a senator saying this, it doesn't get any more violative than that. This is horrible.
So do you find it a little ironic that Senator Wyden is working on a so-called privacy bill when the legislation is aiming to do the very opposite? And do you see it infringing on one's political beliefs and covering it up, calling them a bad actor?
Yes! Yes! You're killing me. Yes, of course it is. Ironic to think about this. Privacy, he's talking about saying we're going to limit, the federal government is going to limit you. Oh, and by the way, we're going to worry about privacy and that sort of thing. But we're going to limit it. And he's never told anybody what exactly did Alex Jones or anybody say that warrants this scrutiny in the first place. This is horrible. This has a chilling effect on the First Amendment, and this is something that's got to stop immediately. Wake up, America.
And is something like pornography considered in the same realm as Alex Jones? I mean, again, it just seems like they're throwing these words and making it political, but really calling it something else.
Obscenity, believe it or not, is very specifically detailed that deals with the period interest and blah, 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 blah. What he is talking about is that Alex Jones is the boogeyman du jour. He's the straw man. He is it. And people, because they have become so habituated to the fact that he must be a bad guy. If you walked down the street right now, went to Times Square and said, here's $1,000, what did Alex Jones or anybody ever say that warrants him being limited, shut off from the marketplace of free ideas? What? They can't tell you. What could he possibly ever say? Did he lie about getting us into war? Did he lie about weapons of mass destruction? I think that would be something. Was he ever complicit in perpetuating lies from the government? No. So what did he do, or anybody does, that warrants? Look, this is my country, my opinion. If I don't want something, I decide. I don't want Wyden or somebody telling me ahead of time because he's smarter than I am, knowing what should and shouldn't be portrayed. This is pernicious. This is absolutely antithetical to what the First Amendment is about, and freedom of expression. And something's got to be done to it. But America can't be like a bunch of, sheeple or barking seals just sitting back and nodding that, well, it must be for our own good. It's not.
Have to wait and see how it all plays out. Thank you so much, as always, Lionel.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.